We are live. Hello, everyone. I'm checking if you can hear us. Hello. Let's do the camera first. Can anybody send a message if they can hear us? Hello, viewers.
Can you type a message in the chat
Yeah,
box,
I can.
please? Have you received something,
Not
Dominicus?
yet. Not yet.
No.
Okay, somebody texted me. Yeah. Ogne said that she hears us. Okay.
Great.
Do we wait for more viewers or do we start?
I don't know how these slides have been put together, Dominicus, but it shouldn't be Lee first. It should be me with some information about scholarships. Do you have two separate sets of slides there or not?
No, that's the only one we've got.
I think your slides are just at the end, Wendy. I'm sure when I scanned through quickly, I noticed that your slides have been. Are they your slides at the end, or?
Let me just have a look.
Oh no, maybe not. They're just Calvas slides.
Yeah, no, mine's on there. He hasn't added mine. Okay, well, maybe I'll just talk a little bit then, if that's all right, first of all.
Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, just please ask them.
Wendy, are these your slides now?
Yes.
Yes, these are your slides.
Okay, great. Right, so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're hoping that there'll be more people coming in a minute or two, and that they're just slightly delayed. This is a presentation which is going to be delivered mainly by Dr. Lee Fawcett, who is a senior lecturer in our maths department at Newcastle University. Oh, there's like an echo. That's stopped now. And I'm just going to say a few words now at the beginning. My name is Wendy Ridley and I work in the international office at Newcastle. I've been welcoming Lithuanian students for many years now, about 5 or 6 years, to Newcastle, and I regularly come out to Lithuania, or at least I did before COVID. Things have changed a bit since then, but hopefully I'll be coming out again very soon. I just wanted to show you a very short introduction to the university itself, and then Dr. Lee is going to talk you through what it means to study maths at Newcastle University. So we have a wonderful campus in the university. It's based right in the centre of the city of Newcastle upon Tyne. And everything you need as a student is within a short walking distance away from our main campus, which is here. And the maths department is in one of the buildings on this main campus too. Just so that you know, we are a Russell Group University. That means we are a research-intensive university, one of very high quality. We are currently ranked in the top 150 of universities in the whole world. And we're given that ranking for a number of reasons: the quality of our teaching, our staff, our facilities, our research that we do, all kinds of things. And we're really, really proud to have this high ranking. We're also well known for high student satisfaction. And one of the things that makes our students so happy is that we do a lot with our students to prepare them for jobs, for getting jobs when they leave the university. So we get 5 stars annually for our student employability. And that's a great thing. We have companies coming onto the campus all the time, looking to employ our final year students. And we have all kinds of initiatives with our careers service to help students get work experience during their degree. That could be a full year's work internship, or it could be doing some part-time work. But there's lots and lots of things that students can get involved in. Where are we in the UK? Well, we're up there in the northeast corner of England. So Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland, is an hour and a half away on the train, and London is 2.5 hours away on the train to the south of us. But we're incredibly well connected with other cities like Manchester, Leeds, Liverpool, Birmingham. So if you have friends studying in other universities in the UK, it's really easy from Newcastle to get a train to see them. We have our own international airport. That's just 20 minutes away from the campus. And when you're in Newcastle as a student and you want to travel around Europe, we have great deals on flights to various capital cities within the European Union. Okay, the main point of me talking to you today really is to highlight our tuition fees and scholarships for you. As you probably know, since Brexit has happened, EU students, including Lithuanians, now become international students. And so the fees that I have on the screen there are the fees that we have to charge our international students, or we choose to charge our international students. And that's obviously an awful lot of money. However, the good news is that we have a very generous scholarships package. And yeah, sorry, the words have all got mixed up there on the screen. But basically, it's saying that as an EU student, you would automatically qualify for a scholarship worth of between 50 and 60% of the international fee. So let's say the international fee was £20,000, and your particular course attracted 50% off, therefore you'd only have to pay £10,000 a year. However, in addition to those scholarships, we also have excellence scholarships, which is the second one shown there on the slide, and that's an extra £6,000 awarded to students who apply by the 22nd of May 2022. So if you get a Vice-Chancellor's scholarship worth 50 to 60% of the international fee and an excellence scholarship, you could only be paying around £3,000 per year for your education, which is a fantastic deal. No other highly ranked Russell Group university in the UK is offering such a great deal. So worth considering us. We also do some sports scholarships depending on what sport you play and at what level. We have varying amounts that we give to support sports students. Entry requirements, I've only got the ones for Lithuania here. Sorry, I didn't realise that there might be some Latvians on the call, so my apologies to you, but you can get our requirement from the website. But typically, for a maths degree, for example, we'd be looking for 8.5 overall in your brandos atestatas, plus it's actually plus 80% in 3 state matura exams. And that's specific for maths along with some other courses as well. So 8.5 overall plus 80% in 3 state exams. In addition, you also have to prove your English language ability. If you do a subject like science or mathematics, the requirement is lower. So we only ask for IELTS 6, whereas for subjects like law or English, then we ask for a higher score, usually 6.5. Okay, that's all from me. Now over to Dr. Lee.
That's great. Thank you, Wendy. I need to say that I'm currently recovering from COVID, so my voice is a little bit wobbly, but it's been great to work from home again and have lots of time to build Lego. You can see the Lego in the background there, which is one of my hobbies / passions. So yeah, my name's Lee Fawcett. I'm a senior lecturer in statistics in the School of Maths, Stats and Physics here at Newcastle. And I'm also the school's global director. So that means one of my jobs is to talk to students from overseas about coming to Newcastle, hopefully to study maths. There are 4 mini sections to the talk. The talk will only be 10 to 15 minutes in length. And first up, I'm going to tell you a bit about the School of Maths, Stats and Physics. We have 4 sub-departments within the School of Maths, Stats and Physics. We have the pure maths section, the statistics section, the applied maths section, and the physics section. I've only highlighted pure maths, statistics, and applied maths there because this talk today is primarily about maths and statistics courses here at Newcastle, but we do offer physics degrees as well. And we have separate slides and separate presentations for physics should you be interested. In maths and statistics, we currently have 16 professors, 5 readers, 15 senior lecturers like me, and 18 lecturers. And over the last few years, various members of staff have been the recipients of awards which recognise the school's commitment to excellence in teaching and research. And I think it's important that we tell you about the research that we do. As Wendy said, Newcastle is part of the Russell Group, and our department is very active within the Russell Group. And I'll tell you more about the research that we do over the course of the next few slides. Before I move on, I just wanted to point out where we are on the campus. So the maths department is based in the Herschel building, and that's the middle building in the picture you can see on the screen. It's not a very nice looking building from the outside. The central part of Newcastle's campus is beautiful. And then as you move away from the central part, you get all of these ugly buildings, but they're modern buildings. And inside the Herschel building is really, really comfortable. And if you look really closely at the top floor of that building, you might be able to see what we call the penthouse, which is the student study space, which has got fantastic views out over the city. And because we're right at the front of the campus, we're literally a 30-second walk away from the city centre. Okay, so let me tell you about the research that we do. And the reason why I think this is important is because the research that we do drives our curriculum. So the stuff that we do in our research then feeds into our curriculum, and that's the stuff that we teach to our students in the later years of their degree. So the research that I do looks at how we can use applied statistics to predict climate extremes. So over the last few years, I've had the pleasure of working with climate scientists at the UK Met Office, with hydrologists, with engineers, and all of the stuff that I do has a real world focus. Lots of the stuff that we do in our department has a real world focus, which means the maths and stats that you study in 3rd and 4th year will have real world applications. For example, we've got a very active biostatistics group in the school. And the biostatistics group work with biologists, epidemiologists, doctors and medical researchers at the hospital in Newcastle. And 3 of our staff were seconded to the Turing Institute this year to work on epidemic modelling for obvious reasons, to help the UK government with their pandemic modelling. What is this picture? This picture shows a satellite image of Hurricane Katrina. I'll get onto the maths in a minute. Hurricane Katrina was a Category 5 hurricane which hit the city of New Orleans in the US in August 2005. Now, I finished my PhD in 2005 and I took some time out and I traveled around the world. And at the time, I was in New York when Hurricane Katrina struck, and I was trying to get to New Orleans. I'd spent the last 5 years of my PhD analysing data from hurricanes, and I thought it would be really cool to be in New Orleans when this hurricane hit. That was a very silly idea, and you don't want to be around when a Category 5 hurricane hits, and I couldn't get to New Orleans despite trying anyway, because the mayor of New Orleans ordered a mandatory evacuation of the city, and the city was cut off. What has that got to do with maths and statistics? Well, in this picture, you can see going from the bottom left-hand corner to the top right-hand corner, a picture of a flood defense system. It's literally a concrete sea wall which protects the city of New Orleans against flooding after an event like Katrina. And you can see that the flooding that occurred after Hurricane Katrina totally overwhelmed the seawall. If you look at the bottom left-hand corner of the picture, you can see the flood waters going over the top of the wall. And over the last few years, I've had the pleasure of working with engineers, for example, in designing seawalls, not in New Orleans, but in the UK. Maths and stats has a vital role to play here because maths and stats is really important in understanding trends in data, trends in sea level data, and trying to estimate how high sea levels will rise. And we need to factor this sort of thing in order to know how high to build seawalls to protect cities like New Orleans against flooding. So we've got lots of really, really cool projects that students get involved with in this area. My area of statistics is called extreme value theory because we're interested in extremes. And we've had lots of projects over the years. For example, we had 2 students involved in a similar project with Shell and ExxonMobil. One of those students now works for Shell. Shell are interested in extreme changes in sea level because they want to protect their oil rigs out in the middle of the ocean. And we've had similar projects with EDF Energy, who are interested in protecting their nuclear facilities. I'm not sure if any of you recognize who this guy is, but this image is taken from one of my favorite movies, The Imitation Game. If you've not seen it, you should watch it. This is the English actor Benedict Cumberbatch playing the famous pure mathematician Alan Turing during the Second World War. And some of you might know that Alan Turing was famous for intercepting and decoding messages that were sent by the German Enigma machine. And historians have estimated that if it wasn't for the work of Turing and his team of pure mathematicians, the Second World War would have gone on for an extra 2 to 3 years. Now, at Newcastle, we have a very active pure mathematics group as well. And we have cryptographers who work within pure maths at Newcastle. And if you really like the sound of breaking codes, cracking codes, we have a very, very popular 3rd-year course on number theory and cryptography, which is run by some eminent cryptographers at Newcastle. Right, second section, I want to tell you a bit about careers that you might want to go into when you finish your degree in maths at Newcastle. On the screen here, you can see just a snapshot of careers that our recent graduates have moved into. Now, obviously, if you graduate with a degree in mathematics, you can go into accounting and finance, the banking sector. That's what lots of our students choose to do, and lots of our students make lots of money doing that. You could become a math teacher, which is essentially what I am, and I'm very passionate about teaching mathematics, but there are lots of other things you can do. And I think the take-home message from this slide is doing a first degree in maths or maths and statistics keeps lots of doors open to you. For example, air traffic controller. Sports betting is a really interesting one. One of my personal tutees 2 years ago managed to combine his passion for mathematics and his passion for sport, and he's now working for a big gambling company in the United States, predicting the outcome of Major League Baseball matches. Another very interesting one on there is further study, and I'll come on to that in 2 slides' time. We have lots of people from companies who come into the university to speak to our students and try to poach our students to go and work for them. And so some of our students managed to get summer internships with these companies. Now, you'll recognize some of these, Ernst & Young, for example, KPMG, the big accounting firms. Lots of our students, because they come into the university, lots of our students get summer internships with Ernst & Young and KPMG. We've also had representatives from, for example, Lego, which is one of my favorites, as you can see. But we had someone from the Lego company come in to talk to our students last year, and we've now got one student who works for Lego as a data scientist. So I mentioned further study, and I like to talk about further study because of Doug, one of my students who graduated about 7 years ago with a bachelor's degree in mathematics. Because of the modules that Doug studied in the 3rd year of his maths program, he decided he wanted to move into something where he could put his maths to good use. And Doug applied for a PhD in hydrology. And he was up against 3 other students who'd done their first undergrad degrees in hydrology. But Doug got the position because they really appreciated his quantitative skills. They really wanted someone who knew how to crunch the numbers and how to model data appropriately. So Doug's now working as a climate scientist in Australia. Another student I like to talk about is Emma. She graduated as a Master of Maths and Statistics about 5 years ago, and Emma's now working as a catastrophe modeler for a big insurance company. Okay, let me tell you about the different programs that we offer in mathematics at Newcastle. You can study maths in lots of different ways. This isn't just true of Newcastle, this is true of most other universities in the UK. You can study maths or maths and statistics on its own, and we would refer to that as a single honours degree. At Newcastle, you can do a 3-year single honours degree or a 4-year single honours degree. The 3-year single honours degree would let you graduate with a Bachelor of Science. The 4-year single honours degree lets you graduate as a Master of Mathematics or a Master of Mathematics and Statistics. And we also have 3-year degrees and 4-year degrees in physics. What if you like studying maths with another subject? Well, you can do that in two ways. You can do that as part of a major minor degree or as part of a joint honours degree. If you study maths as part of a major minor combination, maths is the main subject and the other subject, for example, finance or business, is the minor subject. And that would be 2/3 maths, 1/3 the other subject, finance or business. If you like two subjects equally, then you would study as part of a joint honours degree, and that would be 50% mathematics and 50% the other subject. For example, at Newcastle, you can do maths and accounting, maths and economics, maths and psychology. Wendy's already touched on the entry requirements. I think the bottom line here is that we look specifically at what you're doing and we'll try and tailor make an offer based on what you're doing, because not everyone does A-levels. We're looking typically for 2 A's and a B at A-level, including a grade A in maths, or equivalent. And I think the or equivalent is the important phrase there. Okay, for example, if you're doing the International Baccalaureate, the equivalent we think is about 34, with maths at high level grade 6. And of course, there are English language requirements as well. Let me just tell you a bit about the degree structure. And again, this is quite general. This isn't just for maths at Newcastle. This is for most subjects at most universities in the UK. So you'll study 120 credits worth of courses in each academic year of study. And in the maths department, we break that down into small manageable chunks, which we call modules. And each of our modules is worth about 10, 15 or 20 credits. Okay. In first year, there's hardly any choice. You do 110 credits of compulsory modules across pure mathematics, applied mathematics and statistics. There is an optional module which you can drop. And in place of that, you can take a module from a different department if you want. So chemistry, for example, or a foreign language. In second year, it's the same again, 110 credits of compulsory modules with a 10 credit optional module, should you want to do something from a different department. Then in third year, it's free choice. It's up to you. We have a long list of modules in statistics, pure mathematics and applied mathematics that you can choose from. If you choose to stay with us for a fourth year, then you'll do a 40 credit dissertation. And that's when you're really working at the cutting edge of the subject. And then you do 80 credits of advanced master's level modules. This is what you'll actually study in first year. You might recognize the name of some of these modules. The orange blocks represent our core modules. So all maths students, regardless of single honours, major, minor or joint honours status, will study calculus, introduction to calculus and multivariable calculus. They will study introductory algebra, and they'll also study introduction to probability with me. Then we have 2 introductory courses in pure maths, that's logic, sets and counting, and number systems. Then we have a problem-solving module, which involves some computing with Python. And then you can see the optional module, dynamics, which has lots of overlap with physics. If you're not so keen on that, then that's the one you would drop, and you would pick up a 10-credit module from a different subject. How do we look after you? There are lots of ways we look after you. I think the most important thing to tell you about is our buddy system. Now, the buddy is a current student who knows all about studying maths at Newcastle, and they'll be the first person to make contact with you once your place has been confirmed. So the buddy is a current student. We try to pair you up with a student who is from your home country, and they'll say, hi, my name is John. Welcome to Newcastle. If there's anything you'd like to know about the maths department, about any books you need to buy or accommodation, please just ask. Then we also have 2 dedicated transition officers, 2 full-time members of staff whose job it is to look after your transition from school to university. Kate is there to look after your well-being. Stuart is there to look after your academic transition. Then there's also the international coordinator, that's me. And part of my job is to specifically help students who are moving from overseas to Newcastle. And then there's also the personal tutor, who's a specially trained member of the academic staff who you can treat as your one-stop shop, if you like. So if anything goes wrong, if you need to be away from university because of illness, just email your personal tutor and they will smooth things over for you. For example, if you miss an exam or miss a deadline. You might want to use Newcastle as a springboard to study somewhere else, and you can do that as part of your maths degree. We have lots of study abroad options. You can spend a year studying in Barcelona, in Leiden in the Netherlands, or in Munich in Germany, or further afield if you wanted to. You would come to see me if you're interested in that. You don't apply for a different degree. You just apply for straight maths or maths and statistics. then you would come along to my study abroad drop-ins in first year, and we'd think about where you might go. You might want to do a work placement overseas, and we have a dedicated member of staff who can help you with that. You might want to go abroad, but not for a full year and not to study. And we have lots of short-term mobility opportunities for students now as well, including teaching experiences in high schools overseas. So that's it for me, except got one more thing I'd like to invite you to take part in, and that's our summer project in maths, stats and physics. So this takes place in July and August this year. This consists of 2 weeks of online tutorials, Monday, Wednesday and Friday, 90 minutes each day for 2 weeks. And then roughly 1 month of private study in your own time, reading, some exercises to do. And then when you're ready, you take an online test. If you pass the online test, we will present you with a certificate. There are prizes available for the best students. And this is something that looks great on your CV generally. And it's a fantastic addition to any UCAS application, especially if you're applying to study maths at Newcastle. Okay, so that's me done. I'll go back a slide just in case anyone wants to make a note of my email address. Feel free to contact me about anything I've talked about in today's presentation at any time. Okay.
So thank you, Lee, and also thank you, Wendy. I'll find my slides. So you can start asking questions if you have any. I'll just cover the part about Kalba. So as I mentioned before, I'm from Kalba LTN. If you're from Latvia or from Lithuania, you should be familiar with us, because you've actually found this webinar. So basically what we do is that we offer free of charge consultations to a study program corresponding to your wishes and possibilities. So basically if you're wondering of studying abroad, you should contact us if you want. We help you to prepare all the necessary documents, so CV, motivational letter, recommendation letter. We'll look through that. We also inform about all the financing opportunities, grants, loans, and etc. And we actually send your documents to university, so no worries about sending those because we can do it for you. Next slide. Okay, so there are basically a few myths when people are starting to wonder about studying abroad. So the first one is the language barrier. So yeah, as for Lithuania, here we are actually taught a very high level of English, so no worries for everyone who's from Lithuania. And as I heard from my coworker in Latvia, it's the same applies for Latvians. So no worry, your English should be good enough. As for lack of money and hard to find a job, we covered that with Wendy on the previous presentation. So if you're actually motivated to find a job, don't worry, you'll be able to find it, especially in coffee shop or market or any other specifics, maybe in university. So if you have motivation, no worries about that. I will definitely not get accepted with such marks. So as you already know, it's not all the times about all the grades. So no worries with that. So as we mentioned before, you need to write, for instance, a motivational letter, a CV. So it's not only about your grades. So think broader. And the last one, it'll be better to handle the documents yourself. So yeah, all the people think that it's easy and it's not hard, but actually we do it every day. We get paid for that, to do that. So it's already in our blood, and we can help you with that. So before setting that, you can consider contacting us. And just all in all, just a quick example of how it's applying on your own. The sad phase, you can see it on the left, and on the right side, how it's applying with Kalba actually. So think about that. And do we have any questions?
No, I think they're shy, but there are no silly questions. So please, anything at all you want to know, or if you want us to repeat anything that we said, please just ask us in the public chat message box, and we'll be really happy to answer. That was a great presentation, Lee. Thank you.
Yeah.
It made maths sound so exciting and interesting. Personally, it was my worst subject at school, but having listened to you, as I often have in the past, it's always very inspiring, and it makes you think what kind of careers you could have. It's not just about being a maths lecturer or an accountant. There's so many other things you can do.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, any questions?
The presentation was obviously so clear that they don't need to ask anything.
We got all the information we needed. Okay, so if anything, I believe they got your emails. If they'll have any questions, they will contact you. You can also contact us, and we will direct you to Wendy or Lee. And thank everyone who was online, who listened to us. Thank you, Wendy, again. Thank you, Lee. And see you next time.
Yeah, thanks a lot.